You got to ask yourself, how important is it to you to grow? Because you were put on earth to grow, to contribute, to serve, to help. When I'm working out, I always do one extra rep, one extra set, because it's a promise I kept to myself. And here's the biggest thing. It's a pattern I keep of me. I always go the extra inch. And the quickest and easiest place to do it is the gym, because I can always grab one more weight, one more set. And here's what it does. It shifts your identity. Identifies most people's lives. In other words, the average becomes sort of like this slow asphyxiation. It's almost like an anesthetic. And that over time we become kind of immune and dulled to the average that we're becoming. You're gonna get out of your life what you'll accept. That's really difficult for people, I think, to understand is, look, what you think you're worth and what you're gonna tolerate is absolutely what you're gonna bring into your life. And what the outward part of your life's gonna look like. I let myself feel that pain because, as you know, there's two motivators, right? There's the gaining of pleasure, right? Wanting to go get something, chasing the dream, but then there's the avoidance of pain. And for a lot of champions, that's a pretty big driving force for them. And so at least for me, I leverage both of those things on me to get myself to take action. There's this thing people think that, like, I'll be happy when. Once I get like this big, amazing home, or once I get this car, or once I get this relationship, or an amount of money, then I'll allow myself some happiness. The problem is the finish line always moves. You never arrive there. If I enjoy myself now, I'm gonna lose my drive. In other words, if I can just wire myself with enough pain all the time, I won't lose my drive or ambition. The truth is, there's no correlation between the two at all. There's no relationship between you feeling complete pain all the time and losing drive. I talk about living in a state of blissful dissatisfaction. And for me, our brains, this dopamine hit you get, unless in the future where you want to achieve the next level, the next dream, the next step. And that's why so many people stall out in life. They got to a certain point and they cheated themselves out of the bliss, out of the celebration. It's important that we celebrate our wins. We celebrate our lives because it causes us to want the next bite. It keeps us hungrier, not the reverse. And so for me, I want to live in a state of being grateful and blissful, not waiting for some future place or date that may never arise. There's no relationship between that and eroding your self-confidence. In other words, self-confidence is really self-trust. In fact, the best entrepreneurs I know are very self-aware. They're aware of their shortcomings, right? They want to improve them. They want to get to the next version of themselves all the time. It's the promises that I keep to myself. If I have a habit over and over beginning to stack one on top of the other of keeping promises I make to me, not other people, the minute you begin to get external in your life, worrying about what other people think about you, right? You've lost all control, and it never fills you up. People's admiration, people's gratitude towards you will never fill you up. It's your own. So for me, self-confidence comes from keeping the promises I make to myself, and the other part of it is being aware I'm doing it. I started to see things to be grateful for. My health, my fitness, people who loved me. And what it is, it changed my state. And so somehow by grabbing control of my morning and by grabbing control of my evening, I got some measure of control over the middle of my day. I was an out-of-control person back in those days, meaning this, stressed, fearful, and I immediately start thinking about a bill I had to pay, something that was wrong, and I'm in a state of reaction to begin I'm talking within 6 minutes of waking up, and I set up routines. Maybe they served me, maybe they didn't, but they were things I could deliver on doing for myself. I think everything in our lives starts with our body. If you're a person of faith, you believe that's where your soul is housed. You do emotions. You don't just feel them, you do them. In other words, and you know this from things you've learned in your life, but like joy is an actual action, not just an emotion. We feel a certain joy, there's a certain breathing, a certain movement in our body. They adjust your thermostat. That's number one. Second way you can change your identity is through doing short bursts of something in a window of time you've not done them before. I could go back a little bit, but not back where I was before. Activity or successes, achievements in short bursts of time. And then obviously our self-confidence impacts identity too, and we've kind of covered that. Those are three quick ways. I think the biggest shift in our lives, the things that makes us the happiest, is that when somebody helps us identify our natural giftedness. And when someone linked those gifts to me winning, now I believed I could win. That's the other way to change identity. It's when someone can link your giftedness to the victory, you'll believe it. Not like you're great, that's general, that's bullshit. Yeah, my first time I talked, I literally went up and blanked out. Like I literally could not think, I could not see the card. How I fixed it speaking was over time, but I'll give you a couple of key things on speaking for everybody.